Hello again. It's Sunday, which means it's time for my booktube shoutouts. So, without further ado, let me just get on to the shoutouts. First shoutout today is going to the Book Dwellers. I watched her spooky October TBR. It was a really interesting TBR. A lot of books that I have, some I didn't. She talked about Vengeful, Not Even Bones, which I actually just picked up. She talked about Hocus Pocus. She talked about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. She talked about an interesting book that I didn't hear of called The Sacrifice Box, that I might have to pick that up because it sounded really good. And again, just really fun booktuber to watch. Highly recommend. That is the Book Dwellers. Next person we're going to talk about is the Nikki Diaries. I watched her spooky October TBR. She had Gerald's Game, which is a Stephen King book. She had another book called The Apartment, which I heard about. I actually saw once, and I didn't pick it up, but I wanted to. She had The Hazelwood and The Wicked Deep. She had Scythe. She had The Witches, which I just covered in a book haul that I just picked up. And a lot of interesting books. Really nice personality. Really enjoyed her videos. That is the Nikki Diaries. Next person we're going to talk about is WutheringReader Reviews. I watched her October TBR, Spooky Reads. She talked about House of Leaves. She talked about Thornhill, which I do love. She talked about a book called Haunted, The Terror, another Stephen King book called The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Talked about two books called Dare to Be Scared and Double Dare to Be Scared in the Goosebumps vein. American Psycho, Haunting of Hill House, The Graveyard Book, another book called The Paying Guest, which sounded like an interesting thriller. And again, really nice personality. Really enjoyed watching a video. That is WutheringReader Reviews. Next person we're going to talk about is Amber's Books and More. I watched her outrageously epic book haul. This thing is almost 45 minutes long. So there are a ton of books that she covered in this book haul. A lot of interesting choices. I'll just mention a few. Legendary, Obsidio, Wicked Deep, Into the Drowning Deep, Rolling in the Deep is the prequel. You, Sadie, which I actually just picked up. Children of Blood and Bone. She also covered House of Leaves. Neverworld Lake, which I also just bought. Undead Girl Gang, which I read. Price Guide to the Occult, which I just read. City of Ghosts, which I actually thought was a great book. Spellbook of Lost and Found. Vengeful, Vicious, Lifelike, another book called Fashion Victim, which sounded really interesting that I never heard of before. The Perfect Mother, which I actually picked up. Ace of Shades, which I loved. Mirage. Just a ton of books to go over. Again, really nice personality. Really enjoyed watching her video. Definitely somebody I think you should check out. That is Amber's Books and More. Next person I'm going to talk about is PageScreenTaylor. I watched her My Massive September 2018 book haul. And she had a couple of interesting books as well. She talked about City of Ghosts, Girl Made of Stars, Furyborn, Three Dark Crowns, Hold Me Closer, Necromancer. Sounded really interesting. I never heard of that book before. And again, really nice personality. Definitely a booktuber I think you should check out. That is PageScreenTaylor. Next person is Katyria Denegri. I watched her October and Magical Readathon TBR. She had Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, Frostfire sounded really interesting. The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding, which I've heard a lot of people talk about. Night Film, Anna Dressed in Blood. Another book called H2O, which I actually haven't heard about. That sounded interesting. And again, just nice personality. Definitely think you should check her out. That is Katyria Denegri. Next person I'm going to talk about is Angela Rose Reads. I watched her Fall and Halloween Vibes TBR. She had the Harry Potter series that she picked up. She talked about some books from the Raven Cycle series. She talked about The Hazelwood. She also talked about The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding as well. She had Stalking Jack the Ripper, which I'm going to be doing my live show next week on. And she also talked about Salem's Lot, which is one of my favorite Stephen King books. Again, really good personality. Definitely somebody I think you should check out. That is Angela Rose Reads. Next person we're going to talk about is Samantha and Her Books. I watched her Spooky October book, TBR. She talked about This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet. She talked about To Kill a Kingdom, which I really got to pick that book up. She talked about two books I haven't heard of, The Book Jumper and The Forgotten Book. That sounded really good. And if you watch that Spooky October book TBR, definitely stick out to the end because she has a couple of little blooper things at the end of the video, which was really fun to watch. Again, that is Samantha and Her Books. Next person I'm going to talk about is Summer Lynn. I watched her September wrap-up of 2018. She had Stars Above, Vicious, Warcross, and Wildcard she talked about. Also Three Dark Crowns, which I do have on Kindle. I want to read that sooner or later, but again, just really great personality. Really enjoyed watching her video, and somebody I definitely think you should check out more of. That is Summer Lynn. And the last person I'm going to talk about is Sweet Tea Reads. I watched her vacation book haul. She talked about A Blade to Black. She talked about the story called The Ancient King, which sounded interesting. Another book called Matched that also sounded interesting. Another book called Dead Reckoning that I never heard of. She talked about Beautiful Creatures. She had a couple of books in the Mortal Instruments series that she picked up. She talked about Fallen. She also talked about this book Faithless by Karen Slaughter, which sounded really interesting. And again, just really nice personality, enjoyable booktuber to watch, and definitely think you should check out more of Sweet Tea Reads. And those are all of the booktubers I'm going to be shouting out in this video. Again, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.